Santa? It isn't even Halloween yet. Good morning, everybody. It's Stephen here for Bland Designs, and this is my weekly vlog number 137 for Monday, October the 14th, 2019. And happy Thanksgiving to all my Canadian friends, because this is our long weekend in October, our Thanksgiving weekend. And of course, the Americans don't have Thanksgiving until the end of November. Don't know why that is, why we have such different dates, but whatever, it doesn't matter. So, with Thanksgiving weekend, I suppose you could say the official arrival of fall has begun. The trees are turning here. It's very pretty. Unfortunately, that only lasts for a couple of weeks, and then bang, everything's on the ground, and it's November, and the trees look like haunted house trees, kind of a thing. The sky is gray, and yeah. So let's not think about that. Weather today, I have no idea because it's still a little bit dark outside. We haven't moved to daylight saving time yet, which means that when we get up in the morning, it's dark. And when you come home from work, it's getting dark. And I think it's the first weekend in November. We will set the clocks back an hour, so it'll be lighter in the morning when we get up, but it'll definitely be dark by the time people get home from work. So anyways, that's how the seasons change. And let's talk about current projects. Well, I've been doing some Christmassy things. I like to get ahead of all of that. So one of the things I did, so let me grab the board here, is this Santa's sleigh. This is what they call freestanding lace. I'll move it up a little closer so you can see the reindeer. This took a while to do, but it was a lot of fun to do. And I went to the dollar store and got some little Christmas balls to drop in the sleigh, so it's got something in it. Actually, what I wanted were little tiny miniature gifts, which I have seen at the dollar store in past years, and they are like they're meant to be decorations on top of a gift, and I thought they would look perfect in here. Do you think I found any? Nope, no such luck. So I used Christmas balls instead. So that was a lot of fun to make, and I think it's really cute. I've also decided this year I don't really do a lot of decorating for Christmas. I used to. Coffee. Yes, I'm back on coffee again, but only 1 cup a day. I'm trying to figure out whether it's the coffee causing me the heartburn or what. Anyways, usually I only decorate one room, and that's our rec room. And that's where our Christmas tree is, and we only have a little Christmas tree. We used to have a great big, well, we still have it. Pre-lit, big Christmas tree. It would take me hours to decorate it. It always looked nice. But now, because over time we've rearranged furniture and things like that, we really don't have a place to put that tree in our rec room without some major shifting of furniture. So a couple of years ago, I decided to buy a little pre-lit, little mini Christmas tree. And that sits on a table that we have. We call it our bistro table. And I basically decorate around that. This year, I think I'm going to decorate both the rec room a little bit. The tree will be there, but I'm going to dress up the upstairs family room, because that room we're in most of the time, because that's where our kitchen is. That's where we have another TV set. We'll often sit there to watch YouTube videos and things like that. So I thought I'd dress it up a little bit. But again, I didn't want to get into things that, little knicky-knacks and dust collectors like that. So we have 4 cushions on our couches. We have 2 couches in the family room. And I thought I would make cushion slip covers. And I did. Now this is very simple because this isn't even pieced. That's the way the fabric came. And if you notice in the center, I embroidered 3 little poinsettias in gold. It's subtle, but it's there. And I made these to fit right over the existing cushions. And this is the first one. I have 3 more to make, and they'll be the same. I don't think I'm going to vary the design. But if you look here on the back, I did what they call an envelope casing, which means that you just slip your cushion in and away you go. So when the season's over with, I'll take them off the cushions put them away with the Christmas decorations for next year. So that's pretty easy. And then I saw this thing. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I just thought it was cool. It's what they call an in the hoop applique design. It's called a Crazy Patch Christmas. I don't know if it's a placemat or what it is, but here it is. Crazy Patch Christmas Trio. Pull back so you can see. These are all various pieces that you do in your embroidery hoop, and you sew them together in the hoop. It's a lot of fun to do these. I like doing these in the hoop kind of things with the fabric, and I think this one turned out pretty cool. I think it could either hang on a wall. I can put it on a coffee table. I may put it on the coffee table upstairs. I even toyed with the idea, but I don't know if I want to do this, of making a bunch more of these and attaching them, you know, out here at the point, so it would go around like this, and it would make like a tree skirt or an actual like tablecloth big enough for, we have a circular coffee table, glass one, up in the family room, and that would work on there. I'll have to do some measurements, but this does take a while to do, and so I don't know if I'll bother doing it, because, you know, you get started on a project like that where I'd have to probably make about 5 more of these, and although it's only October, that takes up some time, and I'm about to start a couple of more sewing classes in another week's time, and that's going to eat into my time as well. So many projects, so little time, but you know, that's life of being retired, and I like that because I'm always busy. Okay, so that's what I've been up to. And so the YouTube channel of the week, this is called Artfully Musing by Laura Carson, and this one is a crafting one. Surprise, surprise, it's not about sewing. This week's YouTube channel is one called Laura Carson, Artfully Musing. This is a really interesting channel because this particular lady does some very beautiful mixed media projects. She does books, she does sculpture, she does tags, she does ornaments, you name it. If it's mixed media, she does it. And her creations are very, very intricate, a lot of very miniature things, which she shows you how to make. And it's just overall has a very nice look to it. It's very vintage in style. It's very classy. It's a good way to use up a lot of your stash to create something that's just a little bit more on the cutting edge. So if you're interested in seeing some new approaches to mixed media, then check out Laura Carson, Artfully Musing. So as usual, the link for that particular YouTube channel is in the notes below, as is the link to my blog. I think I added something new to the blog, one of my previous quilts that I have finished. There is a link to Stephen and Walter Live. This week we did it. Sorry for those of you that may have missed us in the live part, but of course the rebroadcast is always there. It was Thanksgiving. We were invited to my sister's for dinner, and so that meant we had to do the live a little bit earlier. So we were on at 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time yesterday for that. So sorry if you missed that or missed the announcement about being up there. But as I said, the rebroadcast is there for you. And there goes my clock. And of course, yeah, I've already mentioned Laura Carson's YouTube channel listed below. One thing you won't find listed below this week is the book of the week, and I'll explain why when we get to that segment. But let's move on to something that's pissing me off this week. And this is no surprise because I'm sure this pisses everybody off. The stupidity of politicians. You know, we should really be more upset with ourselves because we put them in power, don't we? In a democratic country, we vote for them. Now, of course, you could probably say, yeah, really? Are we voting for them, or is it already sort of predetermined or fixed or manipulated? And yes, to answer all of those questions, yes, it is. But what I want to do is point out something that happened in the last week with our Prime Minister. Right now, you know, we're in the middle of a federal election. 1 week from today, we go to the polls and we change our government. Well, the people in power want it to be changed. Those who don't have the power right now want to be in power. And those that are in power want to keep their power. So, of course, they've had several debates, all candidates' debates on TV, and they've all spewed forth their promises and their criticisms of the other party. And it's, it's great entertainment to watch these things because it's like children. It really is. It's like watching children fighting in a playground. You really know then that politicians are not really that far removed from the trees, are they? When they open their mouths, the stupid things that come out. But here's what's really was stupid, and I'm upset about it because, first of all, I make no bones about it. We have two main parties that are running. We have others, but they don't really count because they have no chance of getting into power until hell freezes over. So we have the Liberals and we have the Conservatives, okay? To put it in American terms, our Liberals are your Democrats and our Conservatives are your Republicans, okay? Starting to see the picture right there. Right now, we have a majority Liberal government. That's what we've had for the last 4 years, led by our Obama, Justin Trudeau, okay? He is running for re-election. Now, there's, of course, always at election time, all the other parties bring out, scandal, right? All kinds of scandal to, besmirch the other parties and see if they get ahead. I don't know if that technique works or not. It just, again, I go back to children fighting in a playground because that's what it's like. But I guess the Conservative Party, led by Andrew Scheer, or as I like to refer to him, our version of Trump, he dug up some old pictures of our Prime Minister before he was ever in politics. Before he got into politics, he was a drama teacher out in Vancouver. Okay. Yes, he comes from an illustrious family in Canada because his father was Prime Minister back in the 70s. Pierre Elliott Trudeau. I'm sure many people have heard that name. So he does come from a political background as well. And yes, that did probably help him get into power in the last election because his family name does carry some weight in this country. And many, many people really admired Trudeau, his father, Pierre, when he was Prime Minister. So anyways, before Justin got into politics, he was a teacher. He went to a party. He dressed up as Aladdin from the movie, the Walt Disney movie, right? Well, he did make an unfortunate mistake. He went in black or brown face, whatever. He's Caucasian. He had makeup on to make his skin look a little more tanned, okay, if we say. So anyways, it's a costume. It's Aladdin. It's, I'm sure he was only thinking about, looking like Aladdin. And then they dug up an even older picture when he was a high school student himself, and he was at some party or something, and his hair is in an afro style, and he's in blackface. It's such a bad picture to start with because it's so grainy. How they found it, where they picked it up, who knows? But they have people in all those parties that are data miners or whatever, and they go out and find this stuff. Everything that goes on the internet comes back to haunt you eventually. So they made a big to-do about this, him being racist and all this kind of stuff. And in our country, of course, where we pride ourselves on being multicultural, this does not look good. So they had a heyday with this. Trudeau, I have to admire him for the way that he handled this. He could have fallen back and said, look, I was young, I was stupid, I wasn't in politics then, didn't know what I was doing, yes, it was wrong, that kind of thing. He didn't make excuses for it. What he did was he directly came out and he said, I made a mistake. It was a stupid thing to do. I regret it and I am so sorry. And he apologized many times over. So, great. So for a few days, everybody was in an uproar about this. This was the story of the week. And then it died down because they moved on to other scandals, as politicians do. Well, somebody from his own party, from the Liberal Party, an MP, that stands for Member of Parliament here in Canada, She, of course, is running for re-election in her riding as well. She was being interviewed on some form of talk show that was specialized in black issues. I didn't know we even had one. I'm not sure where this station exists or what it is, but anyways, that's beside the point. The interviewer, she was a black lady, and she's talking to this woman, this MP, who's been in politics herself like for 30 years. So she's got lots of experience with, the double speak and and how things are, what do they call it, spun, to get them in power and everything. She talks about the whole thing with Trudeau in Blackface. This is her leader. This is the head of her party. She's on a black interview talk show talking about blackface. That's bad enough in itself, because that topic should have been just left alone and let it lie. But no, she puts fuel on the fire. She turns around and says, well, Trudeau probably did that because, he's a very fair man or something like this, and he was just honoring the black community by dressing up in blackface. Wow. Now, you looked at the interviewer's face, this black lady that was interviewing her, and you could see she was controlling herself, but the look on her face and her eyes when this woman said this stuff said it all. Like, oh, you didn't. You did not go there, did you, girlfriend? Oh, no. And she did. What an idiot. How stupid can you be? When you're in politics, all eyes are on you. Everybody's waiting to see you make a mistake. No matter how minor, how small, the opposition, the people you're running against, are going to bring that up in your face. And yes, they did. They just reopened the whole issue again. After Trudeau had made a sincere apology, admitted that he made a mistake, all that kind of stuff, this woman just kicks the ladder right out from under him. I'd fire her. I mean, he's her boss. Fire her. I don't care if she's got 30 years of MP experience or whatever in the politics, because those 30 years she hasn't learned anything. She shouldn't have even brought it up. Now, the clip that I saw, I don't know what the question was. I don't know if she brought it up on her own volition. I would like to think that any person with half a brain wouldn't even go near that topic. And even if she didn't bring it up, but they brought it up as a question, she should have just simply stonewalled them and said, well, Mr. Trudeau has already apologized to the Canadian public for that mistake. He recognizes the seriousness of the issue, and he's apologized. And leave it. Next question, please. But no, she said what she said. So really, that is a fine example of how stupid politicians are. Funny thing is, we look towards the politicians as supposedly wise people because we've put them in power to run our country. No, the reality is, most of them are in it, and I've said this before, they're in it for themselves. They're not in it for the people they represent. In our country, when they finally get out of politics after they're no longer an MP, they get a really nice yearly pension for life. It's nice. The average Canadian doesn't get that much of a pension if they have a pension plan at all. So, you expect these people to make intelligent decisions. After all, they're making the laws of our land. They run the justice system, all that kind of stuff. So you really want people in there with half a brain. Unfortunately, that's what we have. We have a lot of people in politics with just that, half a brain. And I'm not even going to tell you what part of their body it's probably located in. So anyways, that's what's pissing me off this week. I'll probably be even more pissed off next week after we hear the results of the election, which happen next Monday. Let it be a Liberal majority, please, 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 please. Let us have 4 more years of Obama, not 4 years of hell with the Canadian version of Trump. Enough said. Okay, moving on. Products for review. Got nothing. Nope, nothing. Okay, so that's quick. So book reviews. Okay, the book I'm about to show you comes from my stash. It's a great book. I can't find it on the internet. I don't think you can get it anymore. So sorry about that right off the bat. But I'm still going to tell you about it because who knows? You might come across this book in a library, on a book sale somewhere. I don't know, maybe you can find it on the internet if you're that interested. But it's how to make altered books. And now a few years ago, everybody was in mixed media. We're getting into this altering other objects, and books were the natural thing because, you know, we're all now reading electronically. And so there's a lot of books you can pick up cheap. And I did, and I have altered books before too, and it's kind of fun to do. But this book I bought, probably way back before I even started doing mixed media, when I was still in scrapbooking mode. And it has an explanation of the equipment you might need, and then it shows you examples, and it takes you through and explains how each thing was done. So a lot of really great ideas. And I'm thinking right now, because in another few weeks when I do my next art journaling class, we're doing altered tins. Some of the things in here for books could be applied to tins as well. But it is a great book. Now, it was by a company called Hot Off the Press, and I don't think they exist anymore. In fact, they used to sell papers for scrapbooking, things like that. They used to have a lot of nice products, but I don't think they exist anymore because I went to their website, which is artsycollage.com, and it just came up that that domain was available for sale, so that you could. So obviously they don't own it anymore. When I bought this book, I have no idea what the price of it was either. Couldn't find that anywhere. I have a feeling it probably cost around $10 at the time, Canadian. But if you're thinking about doing altered books, of course you can go on YouTube and you can find tons of videos about altering books. So, you know, this is probably a little bit obsolete, but by chance, if you come across it on a garage sale or somewhere, it might be worth picking up if you're interested in this kind of thing. So that's Altered Books, and the authors are Sarah Newman and Paris Dukes. But unfortunately, I could not put a link to this anywhere because I couldn't find one. Okay, enough said. All right, so that takes us to Works in Progress, and it's part 2 of this week's iCraft project. It's the Scalloped Gatefold album, and this week I show you what I did in terms of putting on the background papers. So now I have put the background papers onto the gatefold album. Now I did this off camera because basically it's just gluing after you've got the pages cut. Now how did I cut these pages? Okay, so I went along with my Cricut Maker and I tried different methods for creating these pages on the outside and on the back and on the inside. And you see you've got these curved pieces up here, which don't lend themselves to being made in the Cricut Maker that readily. In fact, what I ended up doing, to make a long story short, was I created a template. And what I simply did was I took the black part of the album before I put it together, traced it on a piece of white cardstock, and then I just marked in here about 1/4 of an inch all the way around, drew that line, and cut it out. And that way I have 1/8 of an inch of a border pretty much all the way around the outside of this album. So then I used a Gorilla Glue to glue these down, and an afterthought was I put these magnets in here just to keep it secured. Now you could put a ribbon around this, and if you did, I would recommend that you put the ribbon on before you put this piece on, so the ribbon would go underneath and will give it more support. But whatever method you want, there's probably other methods you could use as well. I also made a template for the back cover as well, because trying to get that 1/4 inch in my Cricut Maker was not working at all. So here's what it looks like with the background pages on it. It's pretty simple, really, this album. So I've got these inside covered pieces, and then I have my pages. Now, I did use the Cricut to cut out these pages. You don't have to have a Cricut maker to do this. You could just measure it out for yourself and use your paper trimmer. And then the corners are rounded, and if you want the corners rounded, just use your corner rounder for those. So here you can see all the pages are in, and I picked my page or my cardstock from a collection that's in my stash, and I'm trying to use up my stash, as you know. And this is the paper album that I used, or the paper collection. Now, this is a really old one. I think I got it, looking at the price tags, I think I bought it at a surplus store quite some time ago. It is by K & Company. They do make very nice quality papers, and they've been around for years. And this one was called Classic K, I guess. And these papers were double-sided, so you can see. And I've still got quite a few of these left. So this is sort of a vintage floral look. And that's what I decided to use in this particular album. So the one thing too is putting all of these background papers onto your pages before you actually assemble the album is a really good idea. Now, you saw previously how to assemble the album, so I didn't bother showing you this part of it again. But it makes a nice little album. And now the next stage of this, and you'll notice that I'm folding the pages opposite to each other. It just makes it lay a little flatter if you do this. So the next stage in this album is actually embellishing the pages themselves. And that's what we'll do in the next segment. Okay, so next week we'll finish up that album by embellishing it. And I haven't really got any ideas how I want to embellish it this time, but maybe I'll take a little search through my stash of goodies and see if I've got some things that I could use up on that might be fun. We'll see. Okay, so events in the past week. Update on my mother, she's fine. Yeah, I'm trying to think what went on this week with her. Not a heck of a lot. When we went to visit her, she was up in her chair talking to the other lady, her roommate. And I thought her roommate was usually quite comatose, but that particular day, she wasn't, because we had a conversation with her. So that was pretty nice. Yeah, so everything's fine with my mother, nothing there to talk about. We went to Thanksgiving dinner, as I mentioned earlier, to my sister's yesterday. Unfortunately, we didn't stay long. My sister wasn't feeling well. There was a rumor she might be hungover, but I don't think it was. She might have been getting a cold or something like that, and we are moving into flu season soon, and we haven't had our flu shots yet because apparently there's been a bit of a delay this year on getting them. So, of course, don't usually get it till November anyways, but I always get a flu shot, and so that's coming up at some point. But anyways, it was a nice dinner. You know, we had traditional. My sister did a turkey, and you know, we had all the fixins that go with turkey and all that kind of stuff. And my nephew and niece were there as well. My nephew lives in Ottawa. He's still going to school there and also working. And my niece, she lives at home now. She's finished her education and she works and lives at home. So anyways, it was nice there. My sister's in-laws were there as well. So it was a nice evening. It was short, but you know, it isn't quantity, it's quality. So that was nice. Yeah, that was about it. What a life. I've spent most of this past week working on those Christmas items that I showed you. So anyways, what's coming up? Not a heck of a lot. No, right now, not a lot. Nothing next weekend. Now, the weekend after that, of course, we are going to a Halloween party, and we have been working on our Halloween costumes for this, and they're quite a scream. And that's all I'm going to tell you. I will show you those when we get closer to the date. I'll probably do a little video of us parading around in our costumes for this year. So there's something to look forward to, maybe. It'll be at least a laugh, I can tell you that. it's a screen because these are over the top. Yeah, and nothing else I can think of that's coming up. So I guess that's it for this week's vlog. So I hope you have a good week, and we'll see you next week. We'll see you Sunday for Stephen Walter Live. This Sunday coming, it will be at the regular time, 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we'll see you in next week's vlog. And that will be Election Day. So we'll see how those things work out. So talk to you later. Have a good one.